Good afternoon, everyone. I am very, very sorry about the technical difficulties. Please bear with us. Everybody, my name is Lamar Baylor, and I'm the Artistic Director of MindLeaps. I'm here filling in today for Rebecca Davis because she is traveling right now. Today, we have a very special interview with one of my favorite people that I've ever traveled to Rwanda with. Her name is Jano Cohen. Jano is a photographer, a teacher of the Alexander technique. She is a mother, she is a wife. Jano is also right now creating a book right now about a boxing rink, and she is just a wonderful human being. I'm so glad that you all are going to get to meet her. Jano is calling from Pennsylvania, and we are waiting for her, and here we are. Here she is again. Sorry, Jano, technical difficulties, but we're back. Jano, I don't think I can hear you.
Can you hear me?
I can hear you now. Yes, yes, yes,
Okay.
yes.
Okay. Come
Okay,
closer.
so Jano, tell our audience just a little bit about yourself, where you're from, what do you do for a living? Share with the audience.
Okay. Well, I was born in Chicago, but I mostly lived in Chevy Chase, Maryland before I went off to college, and I've been in Philadelphia since 1975. I came here from San Francisco to be dancing here in Philadelphia. It took a while to get it started, but I danced for 22 years. Meanwhile, I trained to be an Alexander technique teacher, and I started studying Tai Chi actually even before I came to Philadelphia. So that's been a long-term study. And then I took up photography when I was 59 years old, and my son was going to leave for college in a year, and I thought, okay, now I can finally, do something. I retired from dancing, so long ago, and he was born and needed a creative outlet. So I took a photography and online course and ended up going to Rwanda to help Rebecca Davis Dance Company.
At the time, yes, and now we have changed into MindLeaps, but you have been with us since kind of almost like the beginning, and we're just so grateful to have had you. And I know I am, specifically for the time that we shared while we were in Rwanda. It was life changing.
Yeah, it was life
We had
changing.
It really was. And so you speak about your photography, and the photos on your website are just absolutely moving. And kind of like, where does that love for photography come from? And how did you get involved in the photography?
Okay, it was a little bit slow growing because my father was an artist, printmaker, and painting. And he had to, as an executive at the university, he stopped doing his work until he was 75, and then he became very prolific again. But I
Mm-hmm.
grew up here, and I think I'd always wanted to do some photography. Everybody gets a point and shoot camera at some point. My boyfriend bought me a film camera in San Francisco, and I took a lot of photos in Golden Gate Park. And then we moved to Philadelphia, and I dropped it and just took up, concentrated on dance. But it's just been a passion. I think I'm a very visual person, so I look intensely at the world. I understand
Mm.
things, also through my body from dance. It's sort of, it
Yeah,
works together.
yeah, it does. And as a dancer, I'm pretty sure that you can capture movement in a way that most photographers don't always have that understanding of. So,
I think it's certainly a different approach. Of course, as I've gotten older, what's interested me more is not just dance, but the people who are dancing. So I'm looking more
mm,
intensely who they are and the relationships to the other people they're around or who they're talking to. And so it's sort of segued into a different way of
yeah.
seeing movement.
That's awesome. And so a lot of the things that you've been documenting, it's been a wide variety of subjects, but they're all related to like social justice, community building, education, healing. What drives that photographic work for you?
Well, I think, first of all, I think that just deeply in my being, I care about people. So it
Mm,
wasn't photography per se that connected me to wanting change to happen in the world, but there was the tool in my hand, and I discovered I mean, thank you, Rebecca, for bringing me to Rwanda to go, oh, wait a second. We can actually use photographs to help people, advance in their life. And I hadn't really thought about it that intensely, although I'd always wanted to be a photojournalist, and war actually would have really drawn me. But by the time I figured out that I wanted to do that, I was way too old and had children and so forth and so on. But I think that when I was choreographing, I also tried to educate people about certain things. I did a piece about war one time, and I did a piece about miscarriage, and I did a piece about sexual abuse. And, so I've always been using my work just because of who I am to communicate what's important to me. And I think dance for, just pretty dance to music, and dance that I danced a lot in the tradition of Trisha Brown style of movement. I love movement. I love beauty. I take pictures of trees, I take pictures of water. I mean, not all the work has to be directly socially helpful, but when it can be, that is a gift. And I think my favorite photo subjects are people, because I care about them, and I want to speak to them. I mean, even just taking a picture and they like their pictures of themselves, that's a gift by itself. But if that can go further, and raise money. For example, I used my photos of the people at the gym to raise money for them. When I had a show actually of work from the gym. And so I made small 8x10s, and I sold them for the gym, just gave all the money to the gym. So that is really how photography there are many ways, I'm sure, but there are ways that that are important to me to give back.
Yeah. So like when you pick up your camera, like do you feel as though your mission is product driven, or do you feel it's more process driven?
It's definitely not product driven, because when I pick up the camera, I'm just in the moment, and I'm following. It's a listening, really. There's something over there, take a picture. This person's doing that movement. The boxer's coming in with the jab. Is there a defensive movement? Am I going to capture that moment? So I'm just following my intuition. I'm following my eyes. I'm following the people. But if it's, if there's a certain light outside, and I see, oh my God, that tree is a great silhouette. Get it right now, because the light's going to, and maybe this angle's good. No, maybe got to get a different angle. You keep changing my perspective, and I'll see something different. And so it's a fluid thing, and it's almost just calling me. Photos call me. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah, that is very true.
Computer, and then I put it in Photoshop. I go, oh, well, that's a good one. Or one I thought was going to be really exciting and fantastic is very dull and doesn't say anything. You know what I mean? So I don't work with it a little bit. So that's the secondary product. Then it becomes product oriented, because that's not what I mean. So I remember when Rebecca, I took thousands of shots in Rwanda. Yeah, and a lot of them were terrible. But she took over 600 of them and had me edit them. She wanted all of those because she might be able to use them one day. I think, when you really come to product, though, you have to see what you actually have and pick. And edit down. It's difficult, actually. It's a whole other skill.
Editing is definitely a gift for people on their own. So the fact that you can edit your own photos, bravo. That's amazing. But I often remember during our time in Rwanda when you would take pictures of the kids, and they would run to you afterwards, just so in awe of them, either themselves or the flash from the camera, or the fact that there was even a camera there, and that they could see themselves. And they were so excited. They wanted to get every either jump or movement right, because they wanted to make sure that the picture came out good. And even if it wasn't good, they still were ecstatic.
I know, it was wonderful. It was way fun, easy. I didn't have to worry about whether they wanted to take my picture, whether they'd let me take that, because they were just, the only problem is a lot of times like this, and pose for the camera, and that's not actually what I was trying to get, you know. But otherwise, it was just a big pleasure. I love those kids.
Hmm.
They were
Yeah.
joyous in that circumstance. You know, outside of that circumstance, their lives were really very, very difficult. And they'd had a bad few years before I met them, right? And so,
Hmm.
and some of them, a lot of them were very sick with
Yeah.
malaria. And but they would get up, you know, and they would dance, do these big giant leaps and laugh, and then fall asleep, you know.
Yeah.
It was very fascinating, and yeah, that was easy to take their pictures. They really wanted it,
Yeah.
and I feel like that's the job of the photographer is for people to show people themselves. This is
Hmm.
something people crave, and even just almost anyone would crave that,
Yeah.
but especially children who aren't being noticed, you know, like that in Rwanda. I think that's a very lovely thing that they can see
Hmm.
themselves. And
Yeah.
the boxing community, the boxers just love photos. Well, first of all, they're
Right.
accustomed to come in and take their picture. It's
Right.
part of the game, really. But underneath that, there's a deeper need and a deeper appreciation of being seen and
Hmm.
listening. They like to be heard. So I asked them about themselves, and the boxers like to talk, and
Yeah.
yeah, it's interesting, you know.
Speaking of
Yeah.
the boxers, yeah, tell us more about the work that you're doing at Shuler's gym.
Okay, so I was not a boxing fan growing up, except everybody, you know, I love Muhammad Ali for all the reasons everybody loves him, just as a person, as you know, and that he was so gifted. But I was showing photographs at a little gallery in Chester, which is trying to rehab itself. You know, I was trying to be helpful,
Yeah.
so I did a gallery, and they were holding a fundraiser at the gym behind the gallery where they hold the Golden
Hmm.
Gloves. And so you know, we had to take all the art had to be about boxing. So I Googled boxing gyms and found one 15 minutes from my house and just went there in the middle of West Philadelphia, walked in. They said,
Hmm.
"What are you doing?" And then I explained, they said, oh, we take our kids to that gym. We know that gym. So it was
Yeah.
an easy day. And I started taking photos. It was really hard to capture. You know, I thought, this is something deeply interesting. The sport itself is very fast and in low light situations, so that's technically difficult. But the people were very intense in their practice and very intense in their relationships. And it
Mm.
took me a while. So I made 3 photographs, and 2 of them actually sold at the fundraiser. It was very exciting. One of them to a boxing historian. So, because he knew the people at the gym, and one to my
Oh,
friend who
wow.
could gallery. So, but I knew these photos weren't that good. And so I kept going back, and I was there 5 years and made a lot of friends. Um,
Hmm.
watched a lot of, I went to the fights, went to the amateurs, the Golden Gloves, went to the pro fights, went to the birthday parties, you know, all different stuff, and just went to a birthday party this week. I got really deeply in, and I felt like the gym was doing something for their community and the sport,
Yeah.
and it needed to be known. So I decided to make a book about it. And I asked the gym owner, you know, who could write it with me. And so they asked this boxing historian who
Yeah.
coincidentally bought my photo. So it was the same guy. And we met at a diner. He lives far away in New Jersey. We met in a diner in South Philly, and we had a 4-hour talk about boxing. We just both got so deep into it that we've been friends ever since. I mean, you know,
Hmm.
so it was really easy to write the book with him. It was, you know, it's hard writing because it's personal. As he said, he
Yeah.
writes for a big magazine and all these things, but writing for this was painful for him because he had to like do it from his point of view. And so it took him quite a long time. So anyway, but he wrote beautifully, and there it is. The book's almost done.
That's right. That's amazing. Do you feel like the work that you are doing there relates to the current challenges and opportunities facing the communities of Philadelphia today?
I do. And they feel that way about it.
Mm.
They have the gym owner's daughter made some boxing teachers that said boxing saves lives. Um, because they deeply believe that they're trying to save the children in the neighborhood. They give them a sport to do. It's like a community center. There's a safe place to go in the middle of West
Yeah.
Philadelphia. Philadelphia is becoming like a murder capital. It's just unbelievable. The gun violence here is terrible. Several boxers I know have died since the beginning of COVID from gun violence, not from COVID. It's very these young, beautiful young people, and it's just, yeah. So this is a safe place. I mean, I'm, an older, middle class white person who can come in safely. I'm the only white person there, not always, but it's very comfortable. It's very safe, and they'll look out for you. And so I can park knowing that nobody's going to do anything to my car. They tell me not to go Pastor Avenue. They watch out for me because don't go over there. They care about me, but then for themselves they've created a beautiful oasis. And so the children has to go after school, and the parents can trust their trainers and everything. So that's a wonderful thing. And then they're getting a moral education while they're there, which is hit or miss whether it works. But you have to tell the truth. You have to not hit anybody outside of the gym because you have a weapon in your hand now. You have to listen to your trainer. There's a lot of etiquette that they have to learn. But as we've discovered, it doesn't always work because the lure of the streets is very strong. And they grew up inside of it, and all their friends are there. And so, you don't make money at boxing unless you're really accomplished professional. So they're living lives where they can't make money. So if they can sell illegal sneakers or they can sell drugs or whatever, then they go and do that. Yeah. And then there's the rap wars, the rap music wars that are going on. It's just people get all tied up with all kinds of things. You stole my girlfriend, and they happen to have a gun in their pocket because they made one. It's just so hard. But the gym is trying. And what I've seen is that the kids who stick with it develop an incredible discipline, and many of them will go off and go to community college and get a career, or at least get a job and work. And it's very impressive. And the trainers are very dedicated to this because the trainers themselves were boxers and had that life, and many of them were shot and so forth. There's always a discussion about how many times were you shot before you stopped, So they try to encourage the kids to, like, if they make any money boxing, to invest it in real estate. They really try to guide them. And so a lot is very healthy. A lot of, they try to eat healthily because, for fighting, you have to eat well. And you have to respect each other, which I think down on also a violent attitude. It's like, oh, you're a human being, and, you fight, I respect you. I finish pummeling you, through the fight, and then we etiquette that actually has an infusion of safety that is very important. So I think the boxing gym is very important.
Yeah. You speak about it. You speak about like the discipline, the etiquette, like that type of creating a safe space for these kids who come into the gym, which is kind of, it's very similar to what we do at MindLeaps. We have these street children who are in these underserved communities, and they are coming into a dance studio and, being taught kind of etiquette, respect, teamwork, this kind of like discipline, this thing that's very foreign to them, but they feel safe in it. And in both places, Jano, your work, your pictures, your photography has captured like the heart and soul of both of these. And so specifically at the gym, and maybe coinciding with MindLeaps, how do you gain the trust and participation of the people that you photograph?
Such a nice question. I appreciate it. I think it's deep. If you're a person who cares about people, other people read that. But specifically, I'm interested, and they see that I'm interested. I ask questions. I look people in the eye, and I let them look at me. And I tell them about myself. open book. I think Sam is on this call. At least he was the first, when we first went on, Sam was one of the trainers there. He and I have the same birthday. And, and he announces it to the gym every year. And he used to dance, or that still dances. And I think he did something with Philadelphia choreographic or something. And he's just, wait, I got lost in, what was your question?
The question was, how do you gain the trust and participation of the people that you photograph?
I'm just literally me, and I'm in there making relationships with people that are there.
Mm-hmm.
That is different than coming in and like spying on people or something. You know, it's like
Yeah.
I'm willing to trust me because I'm trustable. I'm right there. If I say I'm going to come shoot a show, I do it. If I say I'm going to give them photographs digitally, I do it. The gym owner kept saying, you should be charging for this. I said, no, they're giving me the opportunity to shoot them, and I'm giving them the photos back. And I think that's just who I am. I'm comfortable, so they're comfortable.
That's amazing. That is amazing. So the work though at the gym, when will it be out? How can people order a copy? Is that even, are you still in process?
Well, that's a long saga, because I'm waiting for it's a long story, but I'm self-publishing. So that means I have to spend a lot of money, and I have to sell copies. And I didn't fundraise or anything. So it would be wonderful if people bought the book, but it's not out yet. So the best way is to contact me, Jano, JANOCOHEN @gmail.com. And I will let you know when it's out, and give you easy ways to pay, for it. Amazon, I may eventually, but I think initially I'm going to just try to sell them myself. If I don't sell them to libraries, I would like to give them to libraries, because I would like this book in places where people could find out about the gym and send their kids there, in Philadelphia at least, and then elsewhere, just to know that boxing gyms, what they really are about. And if people want to, they can friend me on Facebook. I don't know if I'll know who they are, but I'll try it out, that it's a person to trust. And they can follow me on Instagram at Jano Cohen. And I will announce the book on Instagram and Facebook. And I'm not sure how else yet. I haven't figured that out. But book, it would be really wonderful.
Jano, first of all, absolutely, for self-promoting and also self-publishing. That's very inspiring, and showing people that they too can do this as well, just like you. And the book will sell. And I hope that people find out all the information that they can about Shuler's Gym and the work that they are doing. Another question for you. Is there, because Jano, like, you've had a life, you a dancer, a photographer, Tai Chi, a boxer, like now into like this boxing.
Just so you know, I never boxed.
No, you're in this boxing arena. Is it connected to like healing? Is there connection to dance? Like, how have you found connections through all of these mediums?
Yes. I think to make art is healing for yourself, because it's using all the parts of your brain. With dance and Tai Chi and Alexander and photography too, you're using your body. It's like, so it's like your whole being is involved. And that's healing. That's healthy. The more we use our brains and our bodies, the longer we'll live, and the more the brain will stay, strong. But healing for society, and it's healing for people who, well, first of all, it's healing for people who witness it. So if you look at a photograph and you are thinking about what you're seeing, that's transforming something in you, and you're learning something, or you're appreciating something, or it just makes you feel good, whatever. And that happens with dance and music and plastic art, everything, theater. So to me, all of art is healing. To make, and it's also healing because in our culture, we are in danger of losing art at every moment. There's so much digital experience that people have, like looking on their phone. They're just looking at Facebook all day, and or not Tinder. What's the one? I forget the name of it. The one that everybody's watching now that I don't watch. But in any case, and television, you know, with all that, it's people have stopped using their bodies the way they were. People, if you try to do street photography, everybody's looking at their phone, and now they've got masks on, and it's very discouraging. And I think we have to fight to keep our culture alive. We have to make more art, more music, more dance, more photograph, everything. It's very important, and it's actually the benefits our culture economically, because if art is made, there is employment, and there is around the art. There's supportive businesses that have to happen. You know, for me, for photography, for example, I had to buy the camera. I had to buy the lenses. I had to buy the tripod. I buy all this equipment. I have kept that business going. And then I have to print my photos out. Well, I have to get a computer, right? You have to buy all this. And then you have to go to a printmaker or do it yourself. I often do it myself. So you have to buy paper, and you have to go to a place, and that's the Philadelphia Photo Art Center has to exist, so artists can go there and make art. You know, so that's employing people there, but also spreading into the community. That's a fabulous place in North Kensington. And then we have to do the framer, and then we have to get a venue to show. And, you know, it's like it expands, and then people are going to come see your show. They're going to go out to dinner, and you know, it expands. It's really life. So art. Life, and life is healthy, and we really need to keep our culture developing. We really.
Art is life, and life is healthy. And yes, absolutely, Jano, absolutely. Jano Cohen, I am just so happy that I've gotten this opportunity to talk to you. I haven't seen you in years, but let alone, I will always cherish the time that we shared, the friendship that we built, and the lives that we've touched together during our time in Rwanda. And thank you so much for sharing, everyone. We are signing out. This is Jano Cohen, and Jano, I love you, and hopefully we will talk soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you for having me. Bye-bye.
Thank you.